Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We finally have some content in Dokkan. We have all 4 EZAs dropped today. We're going to do the main ones being AGL Pikkon and Tech Janemba for you today. Tomorrow you're going to get the Strength Pikkon and Super Saiyan Kaioken Goku. And my Pikkon's only got one dupe. You know, a unit that came out 4 years ago at this point, literally just over 4 years ago, and I've only managed to pull 2 in my entire time of playing this game. He is level 10 links though, doesn't quite have a 220% lead just yet, only 200% leads, and I'll be real, doesn't really have many of those. We are running him on Gogeta's 200% movie heroes lead. He can go on Cell's lead, just not the full 220, which I don't think is a bad idea. It actually helps Cell's team out, especially just having him sit in slot 3 and then making most of the Usher on his active skill. Other than that, you don't really have anywhere to run him. Even Gogeta's a little bit of a risk, unless you really do feel like playing dodge or die, essentially. But we're already next to a Goku and Vegeta unit. He is a very good support. So his best bet is always going to be slot 3, but of course, for the sake of the video, we're going to have him in slot 2. Links, how we looking? I mean, we do have experienced fighters, shocking speed, fierce battle. The only thing is, link-wise, he's not going to link up too well. Which, I mean, for a slot 3 support, isn't overly important, but that is going to be a detriment to him, is just not always having too many links active at once. Not to say his links are bad, just as a set isn't the best. He is starting with a 436k attack stat, 363k defense. We are actually next to a Goku Angel or Vegeta Angel unit. So we will get the unit super attack where our attacks are effective against all types. On both 12 and 18 key, or not 18 key, on both unit super attack and normal super attack, Pikkon is greatly raising attack and defense by 50%. So kind of doesn't really matter if you get the unit super attack or not, although the attacks being effective against all types is nice to have. It's not necessary, it's not needed, but it is nice to have. You'd rather have it than not, essentially. 279 is quite a lot, but we'll firm it, Pikkon is starting the turn with 200% attack and defense, does have a 50% chance to dodge. All superclass allies will get in key +2 and attack and defense +30%. I said pretty much a very good looking slot 3 support unit. For 7 turns right now, he does have an extra 200% defense and guard. So guard and dodge, very nice defensive utility. With 3 or more type keys for his obtains, which we did get. Other World Warriors and Connected Hope units, 15.3 is not bad either, considering we only have a few links active. I haven't seen a super attack in so long. So long. Don't forget that was attacks effective against all types. We're getting additional 16.4 on the additional. It's a shame the second one couldn't have been a super attack, because we did get 3 or more type keys for his obtained. There's the dodge. There's the dodge again. Otherworld Warriors or Connected Hope category allies will gain 30% attack and defense. So any superclass Otherworld Warriors or Connected Hope units will be getting a total of key +2, attack and defense +60%. The main ones being, of course, Tech Goku and Vegeta next to him, or Tech Gogeta. The biggest one being the 10th anniversary AGL Gogeta unit. That is a unit that can benefit quite a lot from Pikkon's support. So I do think that's very nice. And that's another unit, including the Tech Goku, by the way. But of course, that doesn't go on this team. If you did run them together, but the main one being the 10th anniversary Gogeta unit, not only does he benefit from the support, but also will trigger Pikkon's unit super attack as well. So do keep that in mind. Now, this second rotation really isn't great, I'll be real. No one can really go in slot 1. I mean, Jeets kind of can. So I guess we'll leave him there in slot 1. But this second rotation's dead. I said not really a slot 1 unit here. I said just because that is the first appearance, Jeets can kind of go there. So I guess I'll take it. But then he'll also get an additional attack. There's a 70% chance of becoming a super attack, which we actually didn't see there. We did get the additional, but that 70% chance didn't pop for us. That is also with 3 or more type key spheres obtained. Then if you do get 1 or more rainbow key spheres, which we did get, Pikkon will get key +4, which I think is huge. Like, one rainbow orb is really not difficult to get. I kind of wish he was his own orb changer. That would help him out a lot more and be a bit more consistent. But again, it's only one rainbow orb. The extra key +4, especially with the type of links he has and how well he links up with the units around him, which isn't the best. Not bad, but it isn't the best. That key +4, as I said, is definitely really nice. And he does get an extra 20% chance to dodge. He will steal the attacked enemy super attack for 2 turns, which unfortunately we can't do here. However, if you take him in like ESBR, etc., you can make the most of that. But then that takes Pikkon up to a 70% chance to dodge. So for 7 turns, as long as Pikkon does get a rainbow orb, you can have a 70% chance to dodge with guaranteed guard within those 7 turns, which I think for a support unit that is typically going to be chilling in slot 3, I think that's really nice, especially with the type of units he's going to be supporting. As I said, you've got 10th anniversary Gogeta, you've got Tech Gogeta, you also have... You have Beast? I think you might have Beast. Beast goes on Connected Hope, right? I think he does. I think Beast goes on Connected Hope. Yeah, Beast Gohan goes on Connected Hope. Who else do we have in here who could benefit a lot from the support? I've had to check this. Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta is not a bad option. Gotenks also goes on Connected Hope. That's a big one. There's a few. There's a few. There isn't as many as I would like there to be, but there's a few. And then Otherworld Warriors is probably even smaller, super class-wise. But overall, Pikkon, as I said, is a very, very good support unit. Very, very good support unit. And so far, not only is he a great support unit, but he's also just genuinely looking like he's putting out some solid damage as well. Like, it's not crazy amounts, but it's still good damage nonetheless. And as I said, right now with, you know, I know there's only 2, but considering how good one of them is, it's very easy, as I said, to get his unit super attack active as well. Like, very, very easy. Like, Tech Gogeta is still very good, especially because of the 10th anniversary unit. And then, of course, the Gogeta support. But then, I said the big one being the 10th anniversary Gogeta is still... I say still, like, they should have aged a ton by now. Of course not. But you have the 10th anniversary Gogeta, who's one of the best units in the game. He's number 2 in the game. And he just works so well with both those units, especially, as I said, the 10th anniversary Gogeta works really, really well with one of the best units in the entire game. I think that's that 70% chance to super attack kicking in. I really want to get the triple. Dokkan just isn't giving me the triple for Pikkon. But that guard and that 70% chance to dodge, as long as you're getting the orbs, I'm not going to lie, it helps him really well. So not only is he putting out some solid damage, especially if you get the unit super attack, you know, you're looking at 15, 16 mil. There is attacks are effective against all types. But then you've got great support. But then you've also got the dodge and guard. Like, that's probably one of the best support units in the game. Like, outside of very good support, he's just a very strong unit that you probably don't really have to worry about too much. Now, once those 7 turns are up, slightly a different story, but once those 7 turns are up and you do lose the guard, you're pretty much relying on dodge or die. Which, to be fair, for a lot of us, we're not. We are very much used to that, if that makes sense. You know, it's not like, oh god, like, don't get me wrong, he does get a bit worse after 7 turns, naturally. He does also lose 200% defense as well. But we're not used to dodge or die units. And for the most part, he is normally going to be in slot 3. You know, for the sake of content, we do have him on rotation to see how he's doing consistently. But typically, he will be in slot 3. So, while obviously he does get worse and you do kind of lose that safer side to him, you do lose that protectiveness from the guard if Pikkon doesn't dodge. He's got enough dodge chance as long as you get 1 rainbow orb to pretty much dodge the majority of attacks anyway. Yes, you could get very unlucky. It just happens. You get very unlucky. You could have that 70% chance to dodge. Pikkon could not dodge and get hit one of the hardest super attacks in the game, which obviously he doesn't survive. But as I said, considering he is a slot 3 support unit with 70% chance to dodge, for the most part, he is kept out of harm's way, which after turn 7 is useful. Does play into how you're going to use him. But then also, to be fair, even with guard, is he really going to be surviving some of the hardest hitting super attacks anyway? Probably not. I don't think he gets enough defense to do that. Normals, he should be okay from what I'm seeing. But yeah, once he does lose the guard against the hardest hitting super attacks, that 70% chance to dodge, you're going to be praying for the coin flip going your way. But that's kind of standard with any dodge or die unit. They do exactly what they say on the tin. And as I said, they wouldn't be able to survive the hardest hitting super attacks in the game, or Pikkon wouldn't be able to survive the hardest hitting super attacks in the game anyway, even if he did still have the guard. So yes, naturally he does get a bit weaker, and he does get a little bit less safe to use. But when it comes to the super attacks, the guard isn't going to be helping him too much there anyway. But for what you're using him for the majority of the time, he's going to be out of harm's way anyway, and you're going to be wanting him to dodge. So I think overall, he's definitely one of the stronger support units in the whole game. And I actually like him a lot, considering I thought he was doo-doo for years, aside from the Usher, which that active skill is now back to being, I don't think it ever really stopped, but definitely more so now, is definitely one of the stronger active skills in the game. So we haven't been able to have it like active relatively quickly here because we've been facing 2 enemies for 5 turns now, so we wouldn't. But you can have it active or have it ready when facing only 1 enemy whose HP is 50% or more, starting from only turn 4, which the majority of difficult content is. It's 1 enemy all the time, and they have to have 50% HP or more. So starting from turn 4, you have a Ghost Usher active skill pretty much ready from near the beginning of an event, near the beginning of a stage, ready in your back pocket to use when things get a little bit techie. Or you can hold on to it to like the most difficult part of an event, of a stage, and then pop it there, and then basically have a free turn of doing some pretty noteworthy damage when you consider the units Pikkon's surrounded by. So it's actually nice that Pikkon's as good as he is, especially because he has such a good active skill. And it can easily get you out of trouble. It can keep runs alive. So I do really like that a lot. And while it definitely didn't stop being a very good active skill, of course, Pikkon just wasn't good. Pikkon just wasn't usable for a while. So for the fact that we now have Pikkon back to being very, very much usable again. As I said, not quite a 220 lead, so there is room for him to get better later on down the line once he does get one. But on the 200% lead he is on, he does support some very good units, one of the best units in the game. And then you can pop that Usher and essentially just go to town the amount of damage you're doing with 10th anniversary Gogeta, Tech Gogeta, maybe a Beast, etc. You could go ham in that one turn. So overall, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really liking Pikkon. Really liking Pikkon. He's a very strong support unit. And I think for the most part, once those 7 turns are up, I don't think there's going to be too many occasions where you're going to notice that. And by the time you are going to notice that, you're probably going to be done in a couple turns anyway. So it's not like you're going to be in there for an extensive amount of time and you have to start panicking about Pikkon. Yes, there's some events in the game that do stretch a bit over 7 turns where he's going to have to fend for himself a little bit longer. But as I said, he's going to be in slot 3 anyway. And he'll have a 70% chance to dodge as long as you get 1 rainbow orb. So if you do have dupes in him, I'll definitely flood him out with some dodge, an additional. Crit's not really needed. But for the most part, he should be good. I said for the slightly longer stages and events, you know, he'll be in slot 3 anyway. You'll be relying on the dodge. Yes, it could go against you. Yes, that is extremely unlucky. That does hurt him a bit. But I think for the most part, he should be okay once those 7 turns are done. Especially when it comes to normals. If not, I'll be very much surprised. But even then, as long as you're getting 1 rainbow orb, 70% chance to dodge, and he'll be kind of out of harm's way the majority of the time anyway. So yes, that is a minor asterisk against his name, as I said, after the 7 turns, but that's quite a, you know, you're quite deep into a fight by the time you get to there. But no, Pikkon is, he's looking very good. Very good. You know, even when it comes to the unit super attack, yes, it's nice to have it because you can have attacks effect against all types. You know, that means you're always doing solid amounts of damage. But at least if you don't trigger the unit super attack, which being in slot 3, you'll be able to trigger it pretty much every time he appears anyway, or the majority, depending on your rotations. at least you're still getting the same SA effects. So overall, I actually like him a lot, and it doesn't really matter that we died because we got to see Pikkon for what we needed to see him for. His active skill is literally just an usher. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments, guys. What do you think of EZA Pikkon? I really like him. I like him a lot. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of the rest of your day, and peace.